Located 100 miles south of Tampa, Florida, the seaside town of Punta Gorda has become the regional headquarters for car guys, thanks to Rick Tawarji's Muscle Car City, whose cars are overflowing a former Walmart store.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Abandoned Anomalies, the series where I talk about some of my favorite abandoned or defunct places. Today's topic is a little different, a little unorthodox, but it's something I've been delving into for ages. We've got a lot to unpack here, so take a seat. First off, let's cover our bases. I'm sure we're all familiar with the term Mandela effect, but for those who aren't, here's the definition. The Mandela effect refers to when a large number of people share a false memory, originally attributed to the existence of multiple universes. To elaborate, there's a belief that when the Mandela effect occurs, and a large number of people remember something distinctly differently from what actually happened, it can be cracked up to the fact that possibly at some point in the timeline, we entered a parallel universe where certain details of the past have changed. But I'm not going to delve too much into that in this video. What I'd like to talk about is a strong Mandela effect I felt over the memory of a certain Walmart in Punta Gorda, Florida, my hometown. I'm sure everyone who grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s has fond memories of errands they used to run with their families when they were little. And one aspect of our memories is the way Walmart used to look and feel. For example, I have the most vivid memory of a Walmart existing at a certain location in Punta Gorda, 3811 Tamiami Trail, that had a McDonald's inside as well as kiddie rides outside that looked exactly like this. I'm sure many of you remember the way there used to be McDonald's in old Walmarts. I remember visiting this Walmart frequently with my family. It was always a happy place for me. So of course I also remember the day they closed it down in 2008, and it was still sitting vacant until about 2014 when a new business took its place, the now defunct Muscle Car City. But we'll get to that in a minute. Possibly the most frustrating part of all this throughout the years was the fact that no one I knew seems to remember this Walmart existing. My mom, who was the one person taking me there all the time, seemed to be dead set on the idea that there was never a Walmart at 3811 Tamiami Trail. According to her, we traveled to the neighboring town, Port Charlotte, to go to Walmart until I finally built the newer Walmart in Punta Gorda. The rest of my family thought the same way, except my brother and I. And so did all my friends too. So why was everyone denying the existence of this Walmart that I knew was there? And it didn't stop there. Google didn't even seem to be on my side. That's right, whenever I tried to find any sort of documentation that this Walmart existed, I was out of luck. For years, I seriously thought this was another case of the Mandela effect, but recently I finally made a breakthrough. If you download Google Earth Pro for desktop, this feature is not available on mobile. You can view something called historical imagery. This isn't foolproof, but for the most part it allows you to view the Google Earth satellite footage of any location for nearly any past year, going all the way back to 1985. For anyone who doesn't know about this, I included a video. You just search your location, click the little icon at the top, and then drag the bar towards the year you want to see. The Street View option isn't available for this mode, unfortunately. But this was the primary way I was able to prove that this was a Walmart. The further I went back, the more little changes I could see happening to the property. It's currently a Smart Stop storage. Going back a couple years, it was clear when the building was Muscle Car City. Then when I made it to about 2008, I hit the jackpot. Not only is the building blue at this point, but you can also see the shadow of a Walmart sign. Something else that isn't currently there anymore is that little area where the roof changes, and I'm guessing that's where the garden area was. So this was the proof that I found a couple years ago. After doing more research, I also discovered some TripAdvisor reviews from other people that remember this being a Walmart too. For example, this one is titled, "The Old Walmart is the Amazingly Large Muscle Car City." Another example, written in 2013. A muscle car collection so large that Rick purchased an old Walmart building. Over here, another one written in 2013. This is worth the admission. They have an awesome collection of cars. It's a former Walmart, and it's full of classics. So, yeah, there's lots of other people that remember this being a Walmart. Something that I find kind of spooky is over here. Somebody commented just the word lost. Just lost, all lowercase. And that was in 2021. But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool, kind of creepy. Here we have some information about the property itself. It was built in 1992, so we can assume that's when it was built as a Walmart. That's when the Walmart first opened, was 1992. So the Walmart lasted from 1992 to 2008. And it became Muscle Car City in 2014. So yeah, this was the proof that I needed. The Walmart that I remembered so vividly was indeed real. Although there still seemed to be no images of it in existence. I even joined a Facebook group of people who lived in Punta Gorda in the 90s and early 2000s and asked them if they had any photos, but sadly I got no hits. But anyway, this brings me to the next topic. What is Muscle Car City? Based on the satellite footage, I can surmise that the Walmart most likely closed in 2008, which does line up perfectly with how I remember it. But in 2014, the building was bought by a man named Rick Trewergy, who started a business displaying his massive collection of classic cars as a museum. The whole place had a retro 1950s and 60s theme, including a variety of vehicles as well as vintage bikes, antique signs, and gas pumps on display. It had a diner inside and also sold merchandise and car parts in the gift shop. It seemed to be a large hit with the Punta Gorda demographic and was very versatile and entertaining of a place. They also hosted tours and car clubs. Overall, Muscle Car City was like a trip back in time. Now, here's where the timeline gets a little muddy. I remember it was August of 2017 when Muscle Car City began setting up shop in a different building, on the same road but a few miles further south. This time it was a former Sweet Bay store. I don't know exactly when the Sweet Bay closed though, because I don't remember there being a Sweet Bay in Punta Gorda at all during the time that I've been alive. The only thing I can remember about the building before it became the new Muscle Car City is that it used to be blue and gray, I believe. However, I don't know what it was being used for at that time, between when it was a Sweet Bay and when it became the new Muscle Car City. I don't know, because it's in a part of town that I never really got around to. I literally only drove by that once in 2017 when it became the new Muscle Car City and thought, wow, that's so cool. I wonder what they're going to do to the old Walmart. But yeah, Muscle Car City actually ended up closing for good after moving to its new location in 2017. 4 years later, in 2021, they closed. January of 2021. It's very sad. Most likely because of COVID, but also the owner stated that just wasn't getting as many people coming through, wasn't as popular, and again, I'm sure that can be cracked up to COVID. But yeah, I just think it's kind of spooky to think that that building has been 3 different businesses. And, you know, the time that I've been in Punta Gorda, first it was a Walmart, then it was Muscle Car City, and then Muscle Car City left, and then ultimately failed somewhere else. And now it's just a storage unit, and that's really depressing and sad. Whenever I drive by it, I just try to visualize what it was like as that Walmart. And I know that might sound crazy, because it's just Walmart, why is that so exciting? But nostalgia is a really powerful thing. Yeah. I've also made a little timeline to help visualize, because I know this probably sounds very confusing and very all over the place. So I know this hasn't really been the typical idea of what these abandoned anomaly videos are going to be like. I know this technically isn't an abandoned place. It's more like a network of different places that kind of work together in this story. But it's been a story that I've been piecing together for like the past 10 years of my life, and it's almost something that I've been obsessing over. Like, first it was just I have to prove that this was a Walmart, and then there's just so many other things that come into play here. And even though I have proof that it was a Walmart, I just really wanted to talk about this whole journey. So yeah, thank you guys.